And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse and our Fission all the way run. In the last one, we put 400 people on Mercury. So we're going to be building up Mercury. We're going to be trying to build out more on Mars. We do have the first planetary magnetosphere going up on Mars. So that's going to eat about 240 power. We still have a surplus, what does that say? About surplus 700, or not 70 power. With which we can do other construction with, which I think initially is probably going to try to get turned into pulling the oxygen off. At current rate from the oxygen mine, we're going to deplete it in 7.5 thousand years. We want that to probably be within a couple of human lifetimes, hopefully. You know, get it down to like 100, maybe. So we need more oxygen mines. We've got, how many? I think we've got one. One. So, 10 would be 700, 100 would be 75? So, get like 100 at least, if not more than that, is I think where we're going. For the next step here on Mars. At the same time, we got pretty good metal coming in. Do I want to do a more conversion of silicon to glass? I think not. And I don't necessarily want to do more polymers here because we're having to import the carbon. It's not necessarily the worst place to import the carbon to do polymer, but yeah, I think we work on more oxygen removal more than anything else. So let's do 10. That's 5. We'll do 20. That'll be 10 more of the power. And that'll come up after the planetary magnetosphere generator. Mercury, we're doing metal into alloy, into water. I'm going to want to do silicon after that. When we get the metal. We don't have the metal yet. Do I want to boost the hydrogen? Yes. I've just realized I haven't actually dropped any hydrogen, or not boost the empty crew modules. And the answer is yes. I haven't dropped any hydrogen on Mercury. I can see what it's going to take to get the modules to orbit empty. Mercury to orbit on the Kronos. We want these to be empty. Yeah, it's showing us, hey, you've got like 0 launch potential. It's like, yes, I have 0 launch potential. I want to see how much I need. 73 tons. Okay, so I need to drop from orbit, like, say, 100 tons of hydrogen. We'll drop a little bit more than that. Start with like 2,000 tons. That way I can get the empty modules back up, so the Orang can bring them back to Earth, so the Orang can be ready to move more people if I need to move more people. Okay, so you go to orbit. Mercury to orbit on the Kronos. No people. Whoops. I have all 4 modules, please. No launch vehicles. Your launch vehicle is the Kronos. 73 tons of fuel to get to orbit. Then the Mercury is going to run to Earth orbit with those empty crew modules. Here we go. Off goes the ship. Oh, and I have another Arraign sitting at Earth. What do I want you to do? You could be taking people places. Mars has space for another 500 colonists. In fact, they have enough space for another 800, well, 700 colonists. Do I have those guys go? Let's be a little bit more conservative. Let's send 600, but let's take those 600 to Mars. Earth orbit to Mars. On the Arraign. All the large compartments, please. We'll want to bring some food along. I think we can get away with 100 food. Need no launch vehicle because we're already in orbit. And we're showing off just how efficient the rain is. And we can do it with, so we're 79 tons of fuel. Adding that silicon mine. The metal's coming in faster, and that we've got 2 manual mines. Water mine is done, so the 1 water mine puts us positive, but that's with the 4 mining modules. We may want to export the mining modules someplace else at some point. Mercury to Earth orbit. So that is our arraign already returning. And most of the oxygen extractors are done on Mars. Okay. So just a little bit faster. Now, we're now 400-ish years. Needed to be faster, but that's a step in the right direction. Yeah, let's queue up another 20 of those. And then I have an arraign here, which brought in crew modules. We're going to drop these crew modules to Earth because they're empty. Well, technically there's some people in Earth orbit, so they're not as empty as they could be, but so we can fill them back up. Get the waiting room, have some space, and have some people in the waiting room. And again, Earth is waiting for launch hydrogen, so we gotta wait for more transit to come down from Jupiter, probably. This is kind of the problem with doing cyclical missions on optimal transfers, is at least Jupiter has a pretty long transfer race on optimal. Alloy smelting for Mercury is done. Okay. So we're now making alloys in situ, although alloy production is definitely fairly small. Do I want to speed that up by going for another one? No, I think I just want to add more metal mines to start. Yeah, I think more metal mines. Earth orbit arrived at Jupiter. That is one of my Hephaestus I sent up to the proverbial milk run, because hydrogen. I just need so much hydrogen on Earth. Jupiter orbit Earth. Hephaestus. Bring hydrogen. Optimal transfer, full fuel tank. It's 2.5 years down, but that gets us the most hydrogen in a single trip. Okay, we got a silicon mine going, so I should be able to support glass making. And bunch of oxygen extractors going on at Mars. We're down to 178 years. I still have enough surplus power, so I can probably go for easily another 20 of those. I want to get this below like 100, and then we'll go back to probably producing more water. Okay, with those metal mines done, let's grab another alloy smelter. And then probably follow that with just more metal mines. I've now picked up multiplanetary species, which has achieved 5,000 population on a planet that is not Earth, because we just had our people delivery at Mars. There's now over 5,000 people on Mars. Which means, of course, we're making money, although we're increasing expenses. We're having more and more rains and more facilities. Why do I have 2 rains at the Mars? One brought people. I know that was one of them. I'm looking at it, it's like, I may have too many extractor missions here. What was the recent finished missions? Am I scrolling the wrong way? Yes. Nope, that doesn't help. I don't know which was the last mission to complete. I've got 2 rains there. One was doing people transfer. I'm not so sure what the other one was doing. Although they both arrived around the same time, so they might have both been people transfers. No, because I just dropped 600 people off, so that's the math there. Okay. What do I want to move where? What do I want to move where? That's the inevitable question. More people to Mars is maybe not a terrible thing. We've got enough food production that we could actually support more people on Mars. So I think one of them is going back. Yeah, one of them is going to go back to Earth with the empty crew modules. Empty module from Mars to Earth orbit on an array. Wrong type of module game. That module type. And all of them. We're net food producing here, so we're going to ship 700 tons of food back. We just put it in Earth orbit because Earth orbit could use it. Earth orbit could also use more polymers and more alloys. How many of these polymers do I want delivered to that location, though? Let's do 600. Yeah. Fill the rest of the cargo with electronics? Sure. Ride the Pelican, which can do that in transit. Optimal transit window. Minimum fuel. And I suppose I've tied up the Martian Pelican for a while. That was the problem with doing the launch the way I did it. Yeah, I probably would have been better off launching the Pelican with the stuff I didn't want going to Earth, and then loading up the Pelican again, but oh well. Luna arrived at Lutetia. Your Hephaestus probably just dragging more rare metals and metal back to the moon. Build the stockpile up there, or just to produce more stuff there. Electronics, alloys, rares. Let's actually double the production of all 3 of those. Not like the moon has a power problem or anything. Because I need alloys. I can't do that because I need alloys. Well, I suppose that means I do the alloy one, right? So 2 alloy ones. That'll give me the alloys to do the electronics, and then the exotics, and then the polymers. Okay. Yeah, so the Letitia one, your job is bring more metal to the moon. Be a little inefficient, leave during this window instead of the next one. Okay. We technically missed the window of the return trip. That's why we're paying extra. Okay, those oxygen extractors are done. I still have more space for power. We are still over 100 years. Let's expand oxygen production. Mercury is waiting on alloys to build most of the other stuff it wants. I need to not get too carried away with buildings. I need the alloys to make the glass to make the solar panels before I run out of power. Okay, so glass is going to be 2 power. Although I can probably safely use like another 8 power with no concern. Okay. So we'll probably hold off on the fancy items until... Oh, interesting. The electronics factory itself needs electronics. So I'll have to have a drop-off of electronics. Probably from the moon. Probably bring some... Well, it could also be from Mars. One of those places will send some electronics down to Mercury so we can get our first electronics factory going. I don't need that much. But I need some. So basically my math here right now is I can get away with probably 2 metal mines supporting every alloy smelter on the lowest metal deposit. So I'm trying to build them like 2 to 1 with a little bit of surplus in favor of the metal. Let's do another 2 alloy smelters and then go back to more metal mining. I suppose I'm going to then do 2 more alloy smelters at that point. And hopefully it doesn't eat all my power. The alloy smelter is the one that eats the bunch of power. It's like 2 each, 1 each, 2.5 each. Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to eat most of my surplus power there. Then I need to hold out for the glass making so I can do solar panel. Once again, Earth is awaiting more hydrogen. Need more hydrogen to get stuff off of Earth. I could drop a little bit from orbit, then I could drop enough from orbit to get another launch. And I've got a rain, so that wouldn't be the worst. Although... Here we go, yeah, okay. Yeah, if I want to keep that positive, I need to probably do another launch sooner rather than later. So let's drop hydrogen from Earth orbit to Earth. Keep 1,000 in orbit. Okay, that allows for me to launch more people to Earth orbit. I'm going to need to get more people. Forget, buy, don't just... Oh, in this case I could do the max, that's fine. Some time passed because I'm seeing more people. And then I can acquire some more. 900 seems more reasonable. And then let's get these modules to orbit. There we go. So that's all the modules. Let's send up some food. On the next pelican. Yeah, there goes all the hydrogen. Spent it, shipping people to orbit. I got 700 people in orbit. And that's an array arriving, I believe, with more modules. Did I dump those on Earth, or did I dump those? I did dump those on... Oh, no, that's Letitia arriving at Earth. So that would have been... I feel like you weren't supposed to go to Earth. You went to Earth. I think that was supposed to be for the moon. Yeah, I feel like that was supposed to be for the moon. Well, they're too expensive to get off of Earth. They're staying there. In the meantime, let's sell what I can from the stuff I've screwed up and dropped on Earth. Like, are we ever going to launch those electronics? Not anytime soon. I can make those elsewhere, and I've got hundreds of... What, I think Mars has 10k sitting around, so yeah. The metal, literally not worth getting out of the gravity well. I'm gonna sell it. The carbon... Right now I don't have a good carbon mine. Actually, I suppose I could go look around the asteroids. I probably have a ton of carbon stockpiled up a bunch of asteroids that I can move. But I don't got a good carbon mine. Again, the rares might actually be worth getting off the planet, but they're also pretty profitable, so we'll sell them. Same sort of thing with the silicon. I don't think it's worth shipping off planet. So 5 million from selling those, and this is buying me some buffer if I run negative for a while and don't pay attention. We can sell the radioactives. They're quite profitable. In fact, I can't sell them all because they're too profitable. There's not that much demand for them. But then pause before we get a little more demand. Okay. Okay, so those are best. I probably want to go back to Lutetia. No, I think I'm gonna have those. I'm thinking I'm gonna have those guys on perpetual milk run out to Jupiter. So you're going back to Jupiter. Even if you weren't at Jupiter, back to Jupiter. Earth orbit to Jupiter orbit. Your job is go get more hydrogen. We're a little out of window. We're gonna let you use like 200 fuel so you can get a little bit faster. Thought I said 200, but okay. 358, that works. The rain here is waiting for me to decide where I want to send the people, if I want to send the people. Luna or Mars makes the most sense. I have food capacity at both. The moon probably actually makes the most sense. Especially because I haven't done the oxygen modification there. Oh, actually I'm screwed up. I thought Moon had lower radiation than Mars. It has higher radiation than Mars. Although it has lower gravity, so it's still going to get used for industrial production where I don't want to launch from higher gravity. Okay. Of course, to put more on the moon, I need to build more housing on the moon. Yeah. So we're not going there right away. I'd have to build more on the Mars, but we'll probably build that while they're transiting. It'd be too hard. Sure, I'm just gonna keep putting more people on Mars. Housing. Habitats. Give me 9 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll build in parallel with the planetary magnetosphere. And that puts housing for another 900 people on Mars, and I don't have that much in the waiting room. I could get the Arraign to leave. Although I'm going to have the Arraign wait. Do we have the Arraign go... Yeah, I think I'm going to have the Arraign do a longer transit. We're going to have the Arraign go up to Saturn to... Or not actually Saturn, up to Titan to retrieve... nitrogen for the moon. The moon has oxygen for making its own hydrogen gas, so all I'm going to drag in is gas I want to release along with it to get the O2 ratio. And then we have another one, have another Arraign bringing crew modules down from Mars. We'll send that back to Mars with people. I think the plan will be. Earth will buy more of my fissiles. Go ahead and sell it some more fissiles. Artificial habitation. Alloy smelting done at Mercury. We got more metal coming up. Just about to break 100. I think I need 200 for the glass maker. Mercury orbit to Jupiter. So we just had a hydrogen drop from Mercury, did we? Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, you can just see the rate. Mercury, to be fair, we haven't run out of the good deposit. The good deposit is going to run out and the rate's going to crash, but Mercury metal. Earth orbit, Jupiter orbit, so something has arrived at Jupiter. Hephaestus have arrived at Jupiter. Okay, so return trip. Jupiter, orbit to Earth. Hephaestus. I have polymers here. Do I want those? I also have electronics here. I need a little bit to get started on Mercury. Okay, so both of these aren't going to go back to Earth because I'm going to say, well, I only had one selected anyway. So the one that's selected, you are going to take hydrogen straight to Earth. The other one is going to go to Mercury. Jupiter orbit to Mercury. You're going to bring along the electronics, the polymers. Oh, and I don't have that level of trans capacity. Okay. You're going to bring what you can of polymers. That'll work. Yeah, the dive from that high is maybe a bit of an ask for the Hephaestus. Minimum propellant required. 999. Yeah, okay. It's a fast transit. It's just a hard transit. Maybe I should be having a Raids do that sort of transit rather than a Hephaestus, but, you know. I didn't think about what I would be getting from there. At the same time, I've got Callisto and Ganymede. I've got 1,000 tons of polymer there. We're building up alloy here. I've got lots of people who aren't working here, right? Yeah. So... build up metal mining? Got 1.9 megatons here, so we're not running it anytime soon. So there's definitely an argument to build up metal mining. While I'm thinking about it. Yeah, so I suppose the only thing we're missing for more gas extraction. Although I'm definitely not... Now that the gas extraction has gotten ahead of consumption, we're not waiting quite so bad. Earlier, when we were really trying to be active in the system, we were waiting out quite a bit. So we had a kiloton of polymer. We almost got a kiloton of alloys. I think we're going to add another 10 mines here. And then another alloy smelter. Oh, wait, no. Don't add another alloy smelter. I've just remembered most of my alloy smelters are not turned on because I don't have enough production. Let's double production, which means I just double the number that are on. There we go. And then the more mines will allow supporting more alloys. At some point, we'll be wanting to do radioisotope generators. Although those are light enough, I probably want to ship them from lower in the system. That's probably a moon build. Build those on the moon and ship them elsewhere. Yeah, that's feeling like a moon build. Because I've already got some of the exotic alloys produced there. Okay, so we've doubled the alloy production. Let's go... exotics next, or electronics next? Polymer. No, don't do the polymers. So don't have I'd be shipping the carbon. We got some polymers here because we want it for Earth stuff. Yeah, let's do electronics. Oh, did we get the launch from? Yes, we did get the launch from there. I've got an array sitting in orbit. Why? Oh, I remember why I got this array sitting in orbit. This was so that I could ship resources. Arguably the polymers that I'm currently bringing from Jupiter down, but this is the Martian equivalent of that, because I need polymers and electronics in Mercury to get from the stuff there. Because I want to be building orbital power satellite stuff, which require alloys. We can bring the rare metal, or I'm going to launch the rare metals off the planet, to be fair. So it's glass and alloys. Glass, alloys, electronics, polymers. Do I need the polymers? Or they technically built in Martian orbit as well. Okay, so I don't need the polymers for the power stuff. The satellites need polymers. Okay, so Martian orbit wants polymers. Mercury orbit doesn't need very many. Mercury orbit could probably take a couple because it wouldn't be complaining too much because it's got 400 people. Okay. Yeah, I've got enough hydrogen here. I'm gonna do a full launch of the Pelican. So let's just assume I'm gonna do a launch of the Pelican. I'm gonna get shift to orbit. Okay, so we'll push 750 alloys to orbit. We'll push 750 polymers to orbit. I need glass and electronics as well. We'll do 750 of those as well. And then I'll use the extra 100 tons on the electronics. Now, in Martian orbit, I am probably going to want the ability to receive some power. So we want an orbital receiver. I need to get some exotics up there. Didn't think about that. We'll need to do that on the launch. Also, for Mercury, I'm going to need glass, alloys. Might as well bring along the stuff for the communication satellites, I suppose. So. Mars orbit to Mercury orbit. Taking the rain for the dip. Construction-wise, this is Mercury. Orbital power station. And communication satellite. So let's do these bit movements. The communication satellite's going to want, because I'm going to want to put 4 up there, let's just say. So 20. 100. 120. 60. So that's the 4 communication satellites. For the orbital power, once again, it's glass. Places I'm going to be sending orbital power right now is Mars, and probably even Mars orbit, so really I just want to get like 1 or 2 up to test how much power it's going to make, so I can get an idea of how many I need to make. So let's keep it simple. Let's do like 240 glass. And 60 alloys. And then I need to bring some electronics to get electronic production started on Mercury. So that'll be enough for 2 electronic makers. That's more than enough, I suspect. And then your ton of alloys, you probably want to not come off of Mercury, or off of Mars. Yeah, that's the launch we'll do. No launch vehicle, because we're launching from orbit to orbit. This is a pretty fast one already, so the optimal transfer with the minimum burn, probably the way to go. And then with what we got left in Mars orbit, let's just crank out communication satellites. With leaving enough behind for 1 orbital power receiver. So leave the last 150 glass and the last 50 alloys. Yeah, so that's my 150 alloys. Or I only need 50 alloys, sorry. Do more than that. Oh, I'm gonna click the thing I want to do first. That'll work. I'm about to have the planetary manosphere generator complete. That'll make predicting if I've got enough power for continued expansion easier. In the meantime, let's grab more. Let's grab a remote power receiver. I need to wait for the alloys to be produced again. Whoops. I'm obviously just not making enough alloys on Mars. Because I'm like, I want to do this. Wait, I have no alloys? We're making it, but I'm spending it. Okay, get the remote power receiver this time. There is Mercury rival. That was Jupiter orbit of Mercury. Okay, so Jupiter orbit is probably more hydrogen really low. Yeah. Oh, no, that was Jupiter orbit of Mercury, so that was the Festus coming in. delivered my polymers and my electronics. So with electronics delivered, I can do electronic factories. If I have the alloys, the alloy needs to go into the last. The first bit of alloy needs to go into the last go. So I can make power to power the alloy foundries. Mars arrived in Earth orbit, so that is my rain arriving with my crew modules. Do I want to take, or how many people do I want to take to Mars? Could take all 700. That would not be too much of an ask. We've got enough food there. Sure. Rain in Earth orbit. Return to Mars. Earth orbit. Return to Mars. Big crew module space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can take 700 of the 700 people there. I could actually take all 773 of them. So let's do that. We'll empty the waiting room onto Mars. And I can tell we've emptied the waiting room because I don't have enough to fill up the small modules. So there we go. And then we'll take 200 food for the transit. That's probably more than we need. Yeah, more than we need, but that's fine. Minimum burn, optimal transfer. Jupiter, orbit Earth. That's a Hephaestus doing a milk run. Okay, so I've got more hydrogen. I could do another human launch. Could do another carbon launch as well. Do I need to build more orbital satellites? Glass we got, alloys we got. Although I dragged... Oh, that was what I brought down. I probably brought down polymers and alloys or something. Okay, or did that on one of the launches. Do I want to build more ships, or do I want to build more satellites? Oops. Not launch vehicles, spacecraft. How many more rains would I actually want? I suppose if I'm doing Saturn and Jupiter dies with the rains, or dive from there to Mercury, I probably do want like another rain each. So let's do 2 more rains. And then the rest of these materials will turn into satellites. For more revenue. Planetary magnetosphere generator completed on Mars. The Martian radiation is reduced a small amount. Very expensive, but it's a step. And yeah, now I have a better prediction on how much surplus power I have, which the answer to that is not actually all that much. We got 559 being produced, we got 554 being consumed. So I don't have much surplus power if that's done. But I do have some glass, I have some alloys. Let's get some more solar panels going in the meantime. And do I keep mining more oxygen? Keep expanding the oxygen. Now we got it below 100. I think we'll swap over to water for the moment. I should be able to get away with mining, or adding another 20 miners, and still be power positive, especially if those solar panels come online. So yeah. Shift, shift. Okay. Mercury's waiting on... Well, I suppose Mercury isn't actually waiting on the glass, because I still gotta... Nope, it's waiting on the glass. I've actually already used up the power surplus until I get that glass going. Okay. Mars to Mercury. Done. So that was my stuff for building in Mercury orbit. I want to see what an orbital power station is going to produce. I want to see... Well, I don't want to see. I'm going to build 4 communication satellites. And then... we've got the glass, we've got the alloys. Those electronics were actually for Mercury. So we'll just drop the 20 tons of electronics. I'd already brought Mars, or Mercury some electronics, yeah. Give it a little bit more. I'll get going quicker. Last kiln is done on Mercury, although we're going to burn through the surplus power and everything's going to slow a little bit down. I'm going to selectively turn off 3 metal mines. So that it's the metal mines that take the hit, and not the glass maker, so we can make glass faster. Once we get 50 tons of glass, we can make a solar panel facility and see how much power that makes. The rain is done at Earth. So I'm actually going to send that rain to Io. Or not Io, Titan. Your job is probably going to be retrieval of nitrogen from Titan for terraforming. It could also be retrieval of carbon. Might do, yeah, maybe a little bit of both, to be fair. Yeah. And the other one will probably be doing the runs from Jupiter, from bringing polymer... Well, would I be bringing polymer back? Yeah, probably bringing polymer back. I don't have any polymer in the system. They might also be doing some electronic runs, so I'll bring polymer down, bring electronics up from Luna, or electronics up from Mars. Okay. So we got one building, we got one ready to launch. We're going to send you Titan. Basically empty. I'm willing to take a 6-year transit. It's fine. Communication satellites finishing. Oh, the population on Mercury, to be fair, is actually growing, so we're up to 8 Mercury-born Mercury people. Earth orbit Titan. I think that was the one we launched earlier. Yeah. I think I want you to do a deployment of nitrogen to the moon. That's what you're doing. It's not the moon game. Did my best to drag it to the moon. Okay. Rain in orbit to the moon. Bring nitrogen. I forgot I don't have a launch vehicle, so I have to, if I want to do that sort of launch, I'm gonna have the Kronos transit the nitrogen to orbit. Of course, I already done that in the past, so that's easy enough to do. Okay. Past me had the same problem, presumably. The rain will do the transit with the nitrogen from Luna to the moon. I doubt we're saving any time. I just smash the fastest here. Blindfold. Yeah, no. Save the fuel. And we'll see in 28 days how much power we can expect to get from orbital power at Mercury. There we go. So it is predicting that it's going to make 136 power per orbital power station. And I can tell this where it's to ship, is my understanding. Generate power in orbit, transfer it to receivers. So how do I tell you where to transfer? Or is it the other way around? Do I tell the receivers where to be receiving from? I suppose I can build a receiver in Mars orbit when I've got some nobles there, or some rare earths there. Earth to Letitia. Actually going to be dragon nobles to Mars. Metal mining base completed on Callisto. Yeah, so I can probably turn another alloy maker on. Yeah. Earth orbit to Letitia is done. So whether that was the one I just sent or a different one, I want you to bring rare metals to Mars orbit. One year, 8 months versus what I was saying, 200 before and hit fastest. So I get there sooner, but I'm spending the same sort of time in transit. Yeah, that's the difference that's going on there. Okay. Here, just take the slow route. Save the fuel. Jupiter orbit arrived at Earth. Were you dropping off hydrogen? Looks like it. I could just do with more hydrogen, to be fair. I've got enough for like a launch. Which I'm reticent to send because I'd have to do it with the small modules. But yeah, I think that array's gonna go right back to Jupiter because I just need that hydrogen. Please go get more hydrogen. Out of all my locations, Earth, because of the massive launch cost stuff of Earth, is just hungry for hydrogen. Perpetually hungry for hydrogen. Everywhere else, it's like, yeah, no, fission engines are efficient, so we've got plenty. Spend like 200 to get to Jupiter faster. Wait until we have 50 tons on Mercury so I can get more solar panels. We'll get a first solar panel. And that'll facilitate building more, to be fair. Communication satellite at Mars. And we've got a bunch of those queued up. We've got a bunch of Earth as well. Suspended animations complete. So, queued up techs, I've got wind turbine, which is going to take 98 days. Do I want to do the exoskeleton into cybernetics right now? No. I think it is time for me to make the run up the remaining launch vehicles, so Magpie into Tetraton. We'll build one of each on Earth, figure out which one has the lowest launch cost per tonnage. That way I can sort of get a prediction on, first of all, where would I want to build other ones? I think Mercury and Mars are probably the only places that are going to have the raw launch requirements to warrant getting like a Teraton or a Magpie. But yeah, we'll get those queued up. So we'll do you into you. You've got a mining efficiency bonus. We'll research you. Again, not really worried about crew requirements. If anything, I want more crew out places because I get paid to have the crew. Yeah, that's probably the way to describe that. I will probably want carbon release at some point. We'll get carbon release in the queue at that point. Orbital mirrors, orbital shades. Yeah, I'll add that to the queue. That means I've got to go through carbon release. It's fine, I just queued that up. Okay, getting improved fizzles, but I'm getting enough fizzles for the moment. That's not my limiting factor. Extra electronics, extra alloys, extra polymers, yeah. I think that's enough of a queue. I might go into the launch costs at that point. Anyway, we're still making money. I'm up to 12 mil from the things we sold earlier. Decreasing that radiation cost is going to still be a chunk. Okay, we don't have 50 tons of glass yet on Mercury. I would like to see how powerful the solar panels are on Mercury as well. The ground-based ones. We saw how powerful the orbital ones are. Completed wind turbine. I could probably build wind turbines on Earth. I think Earth is probably the only place with enough atmosphere for it to be worth building at the moment. But we picked it up because it was a quick pickup at that point. And we are going to put atmospheres elsewhere, and then, you know, at that point, wind turbines will be more useful. I literally have an array sitting in orbit. Where do I want you to go? There's an argument to go back to Mars to pick up more electronics. And that is an argument. Another place to go is I could actually go to the moon. The moon has a lot of glass. Glass? Yeah, I just sold myself on the moon. Go to the moon. Mercury to the moon. Technically Mercury orbit to the moon. You take nothing with you. I'm also willing to have you go fast. 300 fast. 300 fast. 24 days. Just go to the moon. You can see it's basically just a straight line. Yeah, straight line. Okay, Mercury has enough for its first solar panel, so let's get that building. These have a base power of 5. They should be better at Mercury. Here we go. The moon. Please transport a load of glass to Mercury. Optimal is 3 months. Currently recommending 3 months and 20 days for a less optimal one, sure. We're coming back down and heavily reloaded, so taking the slower path I think is fine. Yeah, we did get that solar panel. Earth orbiter Jupiter. That was the Arraign. Oh, I sent you up here for hydrogen, so just take more hydrogen back to Earth. Anyway, we got more power. That one solar panel is providing 64.7 power. 130% work efficiency. Yeah. Yeah, that's some productive power there. So with that, we were shorting the metal mines to keep the power grid positive. We don't need to do that anymore. So, time to make these humans very busy. Food negative. Technically I am, yeah. Because of the mercury population's growing. Okay, let's just grab a second. Hydroponics. I'll put this food positive. I've got enough alloys here. Let's grab a glass mine to double the glass production so we can get those solar panels running faster. Follow that up with a electronics mine. Or electronics factory. Technically not a mine. When that's done, or when we get 200, we'll probably do another electronics, followed by 2 exotics. Then we'll basically have everything kind of nicely produced in situ. And then it's just more mining, I suppose. More and more and more mining. In fact, I'm so sure it's more mining, I'm just going to queue up another 20 miners. Okay, so do I tell power... How do I handle power transfer? You're receiving nothing, so that's not... So I obviously have to tell it. How do I tell it? Let's not click on you. You're making power... Generates power and transfer it to receivers. And my receiver on Mars... Not sure how to do the power transferring command. It might be a situation where I technically... Maybe you need the receiver to send power? Oh, that seems a little weird. Making 132. I'm not 100% sure the orbitals can actually target the ground, but I'm pretty sure they can. Yeah, so we now have a lot more power storage on Mars, so Martian power storage should increase. It wasn't a terrible build, even if we don't use it that way. It's definitely not the right one. You know, this is a point for a part break. I'm going to check during the part break. So if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow where we're going to figure out how these work. I know they work. that's the thing I do. I do know they work. Other people have done them. I've watched other people do them. I may, in fact, take a quick gander at someone I know who made them work while I'm on the part break here. But if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, this is the midstream tea break where I go make a cup of tea. So I will be back after a new cup of tea has been brewed and maybe after looking up how to make that work, so I'm not sitting here twirling my mustache trying to figure out why it's not working. So if you're watching on YouTube, part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to have the tea break. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.